the first lesson of this model about the impact of emotions in our personal finances and in the creation of wealth that we have and that we have the right to is learning the power hidden within our breath. Wow, it's scientifically recognized that our breath has the power to get our body relaxed, to get ourselves grounded, and to just let us see the big picture. So, before we start with this lesson, let me tell you a story about 2020. I know for sure that for many of us, 2020 was the most life-changing year in positive or negative ways. For me, it was not just the impact of the pandemic by that moment. In that year, in March 20, I had to move from one country to another with a 1-year-old baby to a new place where I was going to be settled, living away the country where I was managing really good businesses. And also, I was helping my family, and I had to leave them there and move to this country because new opportunities here. For me, it was a remarkable year because I never thought in my life that I was going to be just a mom or a wife, a household wife and mom. I never thought that in my life because I have been working since I was very little. My dad has an incredible work ethic and he just gave me that incredible value. So for me, just staying at the house because the world was shutting down and I couldn't get into new places, even when I love to move from one country to another because my life has been like that. And I have had amazing experiences. Even when this change was super exciting for me, it didn't was quiet as I thought or as high as I had imagined it because I had to move in a moment that I wasn't planning to do and because I had nothing in my new super big house in this new place and literally nothing. I just came with two suitcases for 2 months and those 2 months become like 8 months or 1 year. So I had nothing here, the furniture was not here, and I was just trying to figure out what was going on. In that moment, I lose control of myself, and I think that I lose control of how I manage my emotions because I started to buy so many things online until one day that my husband and I were sitting in a table grabbing lunch, and he just asked me, why is it that you are buying so many things online? Why is it you are buying a new toy for a child when she doesn't need it in this moment? She has enough things. So in that moment, I just stood to myself. I get really grounded to the chair. I put the fork on the plate and I just started thinking inside myself. And I made the question to me again that my husband was doing to me. Why is it that you are buying this when we don't need it? Why is it that I am buying so many clothes and shoes when I am locking down in my house? I don't even go out in this moment. And I think that my husband continued talking and speaking, and maybe he was not so happy in that moment, but I didn't heard anything about it. In that moment, I just got to myself and I took a deep breath, feel all my belly, and then I put the breath out and I start to recognize that what I was doing is because I have a pain, an emotion, frustration emotions, and sadness emotions inside myself. So I stopped my husband talking in that moment and I told him, I'm going to tell you the truth. I am doing this not because I want to, but because I have these emotions that are driving these pending decisions that we don't need. And I'm so grateful with you because you asked me that question. So I get realized and reconnected with myself. And how many of us through our life have made decisions based on emotions, not in things that we actually need, but more about another emotion that is behind there and that we don't want to confront it. And if you're doing this, and so to some people it happens uh, with buying stuff, with spending decisions. To other people happens with food, but there is an emotion that we have to recognize. And if this is happened to you, I will invite you to come back to your breath and just start to breathe as if you were the owner of the world, because it's scientifically known that our breath let us get grounded again. It just has this magical superpower to connect with our inner intelligence, to just get here again on planet Earth and just recognize, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? We just get calm. And when our body and our brain is calm, we can make absolutely better decisions. So one of the best ways to start to acknowledge, why is it that we're doing something? Why is it that we're spending in this? Why is it that we're putting our kids in these activities, or in this or buying so many things for them? Why is it that we want to go to every single party or to every single restaurant, new restaurant that is in the city? When we start to recognize that, and we do it through our breath, not with the judgment idea, but just let our breath guide us. And let us be calm again. Let us be with us again. Not with everything that is around us that is just getting not a lot of noise in our life, just with ourselves. In that moment, we can see the true wisdom of why are we doing something. And I'm so sure that you're going to make a so much better decision when you just get connected to your breath and just recognize that in that moment, you actually don't need what you're going to get, or you actually don't need to do one thing because you don't want to, but it's because based on another thing that is going on in your life. So the actions things that I will invite you to do in this first lesson, and they are super power for you to start to control your emotions, to acknowledge, and more than control it, to acknowledge it, to recognize, okay, I feel this and this, I feel sad, I feel super happy. Have you ever heard in your family or in your community, don't you ever take decisions when you're too happy? Yes, it has a lot of wisdom on that. And we are all, I think, making those mistakes in some point in our life. But when we start to just breathing, breathing, and just take that breath that is going to fill our life and reconnect all our oxygen system, and put all that oxygen in our blood, in that moment is that we can just get back here and just say, wait a minute, I need to think about this situation, even when it sounds so good. Wait a minute, I know your offer is the best in the world, as you are saying, and you're giving me a tremendous discount, but let me just check how my numbers are going to be. Wait a minute, I don't need to buy this in this moment. My family doesn't need it. My kid doesn't need it. My husband actually not gonna love me more because I give you this and this and this. So actually recognizing and get back to the wisdom of what are we feeling first before we take a decision is one of the most important things that we can do in our life. So actions for this first lesson. Take a moment in your day where you are just gonna connect with at least 5 deep breaths. If you cannot do it in your house, because there is a lot of noise in our houses, and if you cannot do it in the car because there is a lot of traffic and you get a little bit frustrated, I think this is a great idea to do in the car, especially when we are just with a lot of traffic around. Do it in the restrooms, or in the moment that you feel a little bit of privacy, and in that moment that you need to reconnect to your energy, to yourself, to just get grounded again. Let's recognize it and just take a deep breath in a way that you're gonna get the world with you, and just let it get out as if you were blowing candles. This way of breathing is life changing. Take a deep breath and put the air out as if you are blowing candles. I invite you to do this at least 5 times. Do it. Another way to do it and to get back to ourselves is to practice the box breathing. And you can do that as a second tool. Practice the box breathing. Why is it called a box breathing? Because we're going to breathe 4 times, 4 seconds. Hold on 4 seconds. 2, 3, 4. And then let the air out of your body 4 seconds. And in that way, you are gonna get just connected to yourself again. And if you do that before every spending decision that you have, something that you doubt to do, or every investment decision that you have, I can guarantee the quality of your decision is gonna be so much better than just let you go with what you're gonna action in that moment. Take those breathing moments. Take it. Take it as many times as you need in the day. Just breathe. Some people just breathe calmly, and that's perfect too. Just get connected to your breath. Some people call it meditation. I don't want to put any title in this kind of practice, but if you want to call it meditation, do it. For me, is my breathing time, my time to reconnect. I don't have to be focused on putting my mind in blank. I just need to recognize that I am breathing. And then in the way that I am breathing, after that, I will recognize what are the emotions that I'm going to feel or I am feeling in this moment that are making me follow a pattern or taking these decisions that might not align to the quality of the goals that I have set for my life. So these are the actions. After you finish these actions and practice it as many times as you want, I guarantee you that if you practice these actions before you do any spending decisions or before you do anything that has to be with your money, and you recognize what are the emotions that are driving those decisions, and if you is actually something that you really needed in that moment, it is really necessary, and it's gonna transform your life and your finance and wealth creation, then you're gonna start to take better decisions. When you finish this lesson and you practice this every single day, because it's all about habits, you are going to start to become more conscious about the way that you invest your money, the way that you spend your money, the way that you use your money in a process in a form that is going to create more goodness, more wealth, and greatest experiences and meaning into your life. You're going to become so much conscious and empowered about whatever you want to do with your money. It is going to be life-changing for you, not just in the area of finances, but you also can do it in many areas. Just use your breath in a moment that you need to get grounded, to get calm, to recognize an emotion so you can be ready to take the next right step in your life.